Okay, there we go. Good. I think to start with, I've read a little bit of background about AMVER and how it works. But maybe you can give the kind of, I don't know, very short introduction. This is AMVER.
Sure, the 30,000 foot overview.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, the AMVER program, which stands for Automated Mutual Assistance Vessel Rescue System, it wouldn't be a good government program if we didn't have an acronym. But the AMVER program is an international search and rescue program sponsored by the U.S. Coast Guard that uses commercial ships to do search and rescue around the world where other people's Coast Guard boats and helicopters can't go.
Okay. Ah, that sounds, and it's been around for quite a while, since the
52
50s.
years, yeah, 52 years since 1958.
That's great. Do you have like statistics? How many lives saved over 50 some years or?
You know, our excellent record keeping goes back to about the 90s, where we've got just under 3,000 lives saved. As I'm researching the historical archives, I can say countless lives have been saved.
That's yeah, there we go.
That's the marketer in me. Let's say countless lives have been
Countless
saved.
lives. No, that's still. I mean, 3,000. I mean, that's amazing. That's a triumph for humanity, really. So I
It's
think,
a neat program.
yeah, that's great. And I think what, as I'd indicated, thinking markets are conversations. You and Amver, in my opinion, do a great job at conversing with the maritime market. What is your strategy for giving AMVER and the U.S. Coast Guard through AMVER a human voice and establishing real contact with the market?
Well, thank you for the compliment, first of all. And I'll have to say that, we started using a lot of these online tools. First and foremost, out of necessity, really, our in the past, the AMVER program had published a monthly news bulletin, and that budget kind of went by the wayside. I started working at AMVER in 2005, and so we tried to kind of cobble together a quarterly online newsletter that would be a really large PDF file, and our goal was to get it to the people out on the ships and folks, in the operations department or the media, yeah, anybody that was interested in what we were doing. But these PDF files were huge, so imagine trying to download it while you're underway, somewhere between, Bremen and Baltimore, Maryland or something, and that was just not really feasible. But I was pretty naive to the online tools that were available. And as blogging and Twitter and Facebook and URL shorteners, all these tools became available to be able to talk to people, like we're doing right now with Skype. I mean, here's a free tool that we can share a conversation. And so, I think I'm kind of one generation removed from a lot of these tools, but we had an intern in the office who said, I know how to do Facebook. And so we put her to it. We dubbed her our online reputation management director. And, literally, we had a space online and started connecting with people. And that obviously led to, well, we better do something now that we're here. And so that started the effort to share the story and talk. I mean, do more than just push, but to talk with people in the maritime sector.
Have you gotten a lot of feedback? I mean, a lot of conversations going, a lot of back and forth. Has that been realized?
It's interesting. I read a lot of the there are a lot of books there, the Clue Train Manifesto, blogs by folks who have nothing to do with the maritime sector, but a lot to do with how to share in the internet space. So Chris Brogan or the Marketing over Coffee podcast, all these things, and the one thing I've learned is that you may not get a lot of feedback right away. I mean, we when we got our first comment on the AMVER blog, I was doing a dance. It was like, look, somebody's actually reading what we have to say. The real litmus test was, just a couple of weeks ago, there was a ship, the Bright Century or the Brilliant Century. It sank. It was an AMVER participant. I had posted a short piece on it on the AMVER blog, and the master that had just signed off, who lived in India, left a comment on our blog, and that to me was like, oh, okay, cool. Not only are people reading this, but the right people are reading this.
That's great. People were actually involved with your activities, and yeah. Oh, that's just great. Good. I was thinking, obviously, it's a company within the U.S. Coast Guard, large institutional organization related to the American military. In my opinion or my experience, oftentimes very closed, very controlling of information. How has it been to how have they been and how have they responded to the opening up to getting into a situation where you're conversing and where you don't have as much control of information flow?
That's an excellent question, and I can say undoubtedly that we wouldn't be able um, to be in this space and to share our information through all these open networks, if not for the foundation that was laid by the Commandant, Admiral Thad Allen, who was the first service, 4-star admiral in the U.S. military to be on Facebook and to be very actively blogging. So if our CEO hadn't embraced it, if our leader hadn't embraced it, I probably would have been met with a lot of resistance because I'm, more down at the deck plate level. I mean, I'm a worker bee. That's not to be said because the CEO embraced it. That whole kind of middle layer did as well. So every now and then there are some speed bumps, and there are some folks that kind of say, what are you doing? And we, remind them that we're sharing information and marketing and recruiting more ships and doing good things for AMVER and for folks that are in distress at sea. And generally they say, oh, okay, the culture is changing to become more acceptable of these tools.
You still there?
Yep, I'm
Oh,
still here. How
sorry.
about you?
It just kind of froze up for a second.
Oh,
So,
okay.
okay, good.
Ryan, there's an analogy I like to use. About 100 years ago, at any Coast Guard station, somebody most likely came in and said, there's this new technology whereby we'll receive distress signals, and it's called the telephone. And most of the guys sat around the life-saving station and said, that's just a fad. We don't have to worry about this. This is nonsense. And, now there's Twitter and Facebook and blogging and YouTube, and there are some people who are saying this is just a passing fad. I don't know that we really have to embrace this. And then there are others of us that are saying, let's hop on board and experiment with these tools.
Are you seeing more people in the shipping space do just that, start experimenting and embracing it?
I really am. I was amazed when we started on Facebook over 2 years ago. I started to look at the various groups that were out there. And like the Greek shipping group had over 2,000 people that were members of that group. And I thought, what an incredible market. I mean, here are people that I can talk to and share AMVER information with. And it's, been segmented for me. I don't have to pay $10,000, $20,000 for an email list or for access to these people. And they're there and it's free. And theoretically, they're going to be interested in what I have to say. And every day you probably see it as well on Twitter, on Facebook. There's some new maritime entity, or there's a new media outlet that's interested in what the maritime sector is doing.